Bronson Reed aligns with the new Bloodline, Roman Reigns makes a call, and more. These are my assorted thoughts on the November 15th, 2024 WWE Smackdown. Welcome to Silo Voice Wrestling on YouTube and the Silo Voice Wrestling podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Jason C. McLean. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications to get all my wrestling hot takes, cold takes, simmering takes, wrestling opinion videos, WWE Premium Live Event predictions and reviews, and assorted thoughts on Raw and SmackDown. And yes, you are going to get all of that going forward. I was very busy with sort of closing off the Halloween season with the ghost tour company I work for. I do other things, but now I'm able to properly commit. Yeah, I was trying to get a Crown Jewel review out no matter what, even if it was late. But you know what? It wasn't really that great a PLE. It wasn't that bad either, but wasn't that great. So I was okay to sort of skip that one, but no more skipping. And I'm recording this Saturday, the 16th of November, so a day after SmackDown. So that shows that I have a bit more time to get things in on time. So that's a good thing. Now, I know that after Monday's Raw, they taped the second episode, or at least parts of a second episode in the ring. And there are, of course, spoilers out there, which I have done my best to ignore, to not hear. So I'm looking at this spoiler free, although some of the things that happened kind of made me guess a potential spoiler. But anyways, let's get into it. Looks like Bronson Reed's joined Solo Sikoa in the new Bloodline for WarGames. Okay, first of all, he seems to fit with this group. I know he's Australian. He does have some Samoan heritage, but he's not related to any of the members of either faction of the Bloodline. But regardless of that, just his look and style, he really meshes with Solo's group. I don't know if he would have meshed with the OG Bloodline back when they were heels or even now, but I think him and Jacob Fatu on the same team really creates a threat. So it's making it look like the OG Bloodline is under attack. Now, I didn't see this coming, but I probably should have seen it coming, because I kind of thought that Seth Rollins was going to end up on Roman's team, regardless of his relationship with Roman, and this is a way to do it. Now, I don't know what happened on Raw. Maybe the spoiler is that Seth joins up. I'm not sure, but I think that's what's going to happen on Raw at this point. Again, I don't have any prior knowledge of it, but it looks like that's what's going to happen, or maybe not. I thought maybe Seth is still going to refuse to get involved, and maybe they'll have to pick somebody else. That's what I was thinking might happen at the end. Now, if it is Bronson and Seth, I mean, it makes sense. You're putting that storyline into this storyline. It kind of gives it another layer. It also gives a whole like mystery tension angle for in the few weeks leading up to WarGames, which they wouldn't have had if it was just the two bloodlines fighting each other. So I'm okay with it. It works, but if it's not Seth, that might be even more interesting, which brings me to Roman making the call. When Jay kept talking about make the call, I thought he was talking about The Rock, and I thought Roman was going to call The Rock, and then The Rock was ultimately going to be on their team and screw them over. But no, he called the wise man. He called Paul Heyman, and he made the call, but this number has been disconnected or something to that effect. Now, humorously, I'm thinking maybe when Paul got his phone crushed by Solo, he doesn't realize he could, get a new phone with the same number. But I think Paul Heyman's been using cell phones for decades now in character. He should understand how cell phone plans work. He should understand that that changing numbers is a deliberate act. So, did he do it to avoid Roman, or did he? Obviously not. Is he's maybe secretly Paul Heyman going to turn heel? Is he working for The Rock, who's running the other team? Is he going to show up at the last minute, bring someone in? Who knows? It might get really tense. Also, there's another, some eagle-eyed viewers spotted that in the segment where everyone was there waiting for, in Roman's dressing room, and then Solo's music hits. When Solo's music hits, Sami Zayn takes a phone out of his pocket, throws it on the couch very discreetly, and goes back to looking at it. Now, that's probably because in reality, Sami didn't realize that he still had his phone in his pocket. Then the cue hits for them to leave. He's like, okay, I got to go fight some people. So he throws it on the couch. But there's a million other things he could have done. He could have handed it to a production aide. So nothing in the Bloodline angle is not deliberate. So maybe there's something to that, or maybe not. But I think that the tension with the simple call, the wise man, was beautifully done. It's shown us why Roman Reigns and the Bloodline is the most interesting thing in WWE, and it's still interesting after all these months. And there's now mystery. There wasn't any mystery when Cody spoke to Nick Aldis. It's pretty crystal clear what's happening. Cody wants Kevin Owens, and Nick Aldis and administration is going to make that a bit difficult to happen. Now, I think Aldis's remarks might have been a bit of a veiled dig at not just AEW, but indie promotions that still allow the pile driver. It was also maybe a commentary from the administration on camera and character talking about the new direction that WWE is going. The fact is that they don't want, as he said, a generation of people, wrestlers with head injuries, which the last generation kind of was. They're trying to sort of set a new standard, which is, it's cool. I mean, the way he brought it up was a bit suspect, but anyways, back to the story. Cody wants Kevin Owens, and they're going to delay that. And I think the reason they're delaying that maybe is because they're not going to do Cody KO at Survivor Series. They're going to do it at Saturday night's main event, which is a great event for that. But it's going to be kind of not having the champion on Survivor Series. I mean, I think Cody's going to appear in some capacity, but not having the champion on Survivor Series in a match has been done before. It was done with Roman, but I think they're going to find a way to bring Cody in. And they're really going to have to play a lot of like suspension, unsuspension, this and that with Kevin Owens to extend it to Saturday night's main event. It might get a bit repetitive, but I like how they're doing it so far. I also love KO's car promo. Having never been inside a Lamborghini myself, I can't 100% say that this is not what the interior of a Lamborghini looks like, but I'm pretty sure it's not. I think he filmed this in like a minivan or something like that. Maybe to show that he's in the KO character, but in reality, Kevin Owens has a Lamborghini. I think there was a photo caught of Kevin and maybe Randy out of character looking at Kevin's new Lamborghini, and maybe they made a nod to that. I don't know. Regardless, what he said in this promo, it's the perfect justified heel promo. It's like Drew McIntyre, but done even better. You know he's full of it, but you know he also has a justification. In his mind, he's absolutely right. He's pointing out real things. I was not watching when Kevin Owens was a heel last time. I'd stopped watching wrestling after pretty much the brand split, and I sort of checked in here and there, but I wasn't really watching until like 2023, maybe late 2022. But I did see his match against Steve Austin, so I saw him as a heel there, but I haven't really experienced KO as a heel, and I like this style of heel. I'm not sure if this is what they did before, but I like this style of like, there's something wrong with him. He thinks he's right, and he has every reason, but he's doing these horrible things. I think they could build KO into a main event heel again, if that's what they did before. And I think there's maybe even a chance he might beat Cody for the belt. Cody will get it back, but he might do that maybe on Saturday night's main event. And the simple fact that that's a possibility in my mind is a tribute to the performance that KO and I guess Cody and everyone are putting in on this one. So I like where this is going. I'm also thrilled that Shinsuke Nakamura is going after LA Knight. Yeah, no, I didn't see this coming. Last time Shinsuke was around, I think he was putting over Ilya Dragunov. Also, he had a feud with Cody where you knew he wasn't going to come out the victor, especially seeing they didn't have a PLE match. So they couldn't do the whole, the trilogy or anything like that because it was getting too close to Royal Rumble and where Cody was doing another thing. I knew LA Knight needed a different opponent. I mean, they had already done Carmelo Hayes and Andrade, fine. Escobar, they almost tried. I'm glad they put Berto in instead of Escobar for this one because another Escobar match would have been. But then Shinsuke showing up at the end, I saw that. I'm like, yes, this is a feud I think I really want to see. I think Shinsuke has a chance of winning the U.S. title. He's been, I think, an Intercontinental champion before, NXT champion. I think LA Knight's going to retain, but because there's that doubt, I think this is going to be a good feud that can maybe last a few PLEs, maybe even to WrestleMania. I don't know, but at least maybe as a pre-WrestleMania feud, I think it's great. I was really excited when I saw this, and I also like Shinsuke's new look. He looks even more more evil, more heelish. Very happy about this. The main event was a really good match. Yeah, there were shenanigans all over, but Naomi looked strong. Nia Jax looked strong. And why I say it was a good match, not just because moves worked. There weren't really any botches this time, as there were in previous matches with Nia. It's the fact that even though I knew deep down, storyline-wise, there's no way Naomi is winning this title. She might be a contender for the United States Championship, or maybe for this title at some point in the future. But storyline-wise, right now, before WarGames, because they're obviously setting up WarGames, there's no way Naomi's going to win. But a few spots in the match, I thought, wait a second, they might do it. She might win. There were like false finish, but then when they do the false finish in another one, and there's the kick out, and then they do a third one, and then, oh my God, she's going to do it, but she didn't. This was an exciting match. They did it really well. I'm glad I saw it. I think this was a good main event for the show. It had me on the edge of my seat. But of course, as expected, it turned out to be all about the angle. And speaking of said angle, it looked on Raw like it might be 4-on-4, but as they made a big deal about it being 5-on-5 for the men, I guess they're going to do that for the women too. So let's see. We have Nia, Tiffany. Backstage, there were Liv and Raquel. And, Candice is there. So I guess that team's going to be 5. So the other team, we have Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. We have Io Sky. We have Naomi. I wonder who the 5th is going to be. I guess they are going to have to see if Bayley can coexist with Bianca Belair. Okay, so that's cool. You're going to have that. Or maybe Charlotte comes back last minute. Who knows? Anyways, it's going to be a 5-on-5 women's WarGames match, and I'm here for it. The Street Profits versus the tag champs Motor City Machine Guns was a good match until it turned into an angle. I think they're doing a quick realignment of the tag team scene. Maybe DIY is going to split up, or maybe Johnny Gargano is going to turn heel. I'm pretty sure the Street Profits are turning heel too. They put so much stock in this match and having to win this match. Otherwise, they have to quit or something. But you know what? They didn't win, but they didn't lose either. In fact, they actually technically won by disqualification because Tommaso Ciampa cheated. And they got mad at the MCMG, who admittedly kind of skipped the line to become tag team champions, despite the fact that they spent so many decades building a reputation, becoming legendary in other companies. So that means I think maybe the Street Profits are going to go heel. They might be an interesting heel tag team. Maybe they'll feud with Motor City Machine Guns. If you have if they're both baby faces, that doesn't really lend to a good long-term feud. But if one team is heel, they can maybe trade the tag titles back and forth for a bit. That's helping to develop the tag team scene, at least on SmackDown. On Raw, we just got to get those belts off the Judgment Day. Anyway, looking forward to see where this is going. And I think DIY splitting up would be my preferred course of action. They could feud with each other, or maybe Waller in Theory will split up as well too, and we'll have like Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory as a team versus Grayson Waller and Tommaso Ciampa, although I can't see Tommaso Ciampa putting up with Grayson Waller. Anyways, we'll see where that goes. And finally, I liked the opening match. It was the first in a series of triple threat matches as part of a tournament to crown the first ever WWE Women's United States Champion. A women's mid-card title, which I had argued for. I put out a video for it. I wasn't the only one saying we need one, but I'm glad I said that when I did. And it's unfortunate I wasn't making active videos at the time when they announced that title, but I'm glad we have it. And I'm glad that Bayley was in this match and won. I was at first thinking it should be a mid-card title, so Bayley's not a mid-carder. But you know what? Having an established star like her become the inaugural champion gives that title instant credibility. And she can lose it, and it can still be a mid-card title, but have that credibility. So yeah, I still don't think she's going to be the first winner. I'm pretty sure that's going to be Chelsea Green. I hope it's going to be Chelsea Green, but she's in another bracket somewhere. Maybe another pick for that might be either Bianca or Jade to, cause some tension between them as tag champs. Anyway, as far as this match goes, though, Bayley obviously was the logical winner. I knew Candice LeRae wasn't going to win, but B-Fab impressed me. I've never really seen her wrestle. She's just been sort of like a manager at ringside. I know she has the skills, and she clearly does. And I think even though she didn't win, this is sort of a push to make her a singles competitor, still aligned with the Street Profits, but yeah, singles competitor B-Fab, that could be cool. I could see her maybe fighting Chelsea Green as they set up backstage, maybe even Michin, although she seems to be friends with Michin right now. Maybe they'll split her and the Street Profits up if they become heels and she stays a babyface, but we'll see where that goes. I liked how this tournament started, and I like the push for B-Fab and Bayley. Sure. And those were my assorted thoughts on the November 15th, 2024 WWE Smackdown. Do you agree with my takes? Did I leave anything out? Let me know in the comments. Follow at Silo Voice Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram, at Silo Wrestling on X, and me at Jason C. McLean on X and Instagram. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. I will be back with my next video, which should be assorted thoughts on Raw. For Silo Voice Studios in Montreal, I'm Jason C. McLean.